Sometimes bladder cancer can go into the muscle of the bladder a bit deeper.
So this letter I've just received from the hospital is probably one of the most terrifying things I've ever had to deal with, because scanning this QR code right here puts into place figuring out what is wrong with me. A couple of weeks ago I uploaded a video where first ever medical emergency. That video got over 250,000 views, which is just unbelievable. Thousands of comments from all over the world. So this video, I'm gonna, from start to finish, it's gonna be the process of having to go to the hospital and figure out what is wrong with me. So because I've never been to the hospital before, they don't know anything about me. I've got to scan this QR code right here, and then it's like a questionnaire about my physical health. And then once I've done that, I've got to ring the number and book an appointment for a camera that goes where a camera shouldn't go on a man, which is going to be a nightmare, obviously. All the comments from the last video were like, it's really great that you shared this experience. It might help people in the future. So that's why I'm making this video, just to, if I could help somebody out, maybe not feel as bad about getting their health actually sorted, because obviously this is just terrifying, you know what I mean? That I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm going to figure out what's wrong with me, and that whole in-between of not knowing is the worst part. So we're going to get everything sorted and hopefully get fixed. Obviously, if you don't know, I stopped being able to wee on the 10th of March, ended up in hospital. I had a blood clot blocking my urethra. Spent the week in hospital. Great care from hospital staff. I had CT scans, blood tests, everything tested, my kidneys tested, blah blah blah. Couldn't find a problem, so now it's got to be specialist urology department, camera up my wee wee, and yeah, we're gonna figure out what's crack is. So let's get this appointment booked. We've got to deal with it, because I just want my life back. My life ended. I haven't been able to do anything since then, because nothing caused this problem. There was nothing in my life that I can figure out what's caused this problem. So I'm terrified of living life until I figure out what the problem is, in case it happens again somewhere where I might not be as close to a hospital and be able to get fixed as quick. So we're gonna have to deal with it. Let's go. Make sure I can wee afterwards.
And they say if you accept it, if you can't go, come back.
Oh yeah, I'll be getting cathetered.
Alright?
No, you're alright. So the first thing I had to do was go check into the day ward. Once I checked in there, you have to sit about and wait with everybody until you get assigned your own ward with like 7 other people. And then you're on that ward for a while. The surgeon will come and see you. They'll take all your particulars, see what you're allergic to, what you're not allergic to. And then they explain what they're going to do. I was getting a cystoscopy, which is a camera through your gentleman's sausage into your bladder. And then it was the slow and terrifying walk down to theatre, which is terrifying. And then they're getting all the tools ready and stuff right in front of you. And then they do the procedure. Once they're finished, it's back to the ward.
Came back from Berlin. Gosh, Chelsea Barracks. Gosh, been out.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Okay, pal.
Catch you later on. See you later on.
Yeah,
You aren't going to believe this. Swear down, you aren't going to believe it. They didn't do it.
yeah, what?
Swear down, I've got to come back.
Why? No time.
No,
Lift.
they've gone into my bladder, found 2 lesions on my bladder. He was like, right, we're going to need to put him under. I said, I've just eaten a biscuit. He was like, no.
I mean, would that make any difference?
Going down? Yeah.
Would that make any difference, really? It's a biscuit.
Oh well, he couldn't do it
When
still.
a biscuit you crank.
Literally, I had the biscuit in my mouth as he turned up. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no. Got to come back and go through it all again.
Alright. Next year over there. So there's 2 lesions.
2 lesions on my bladder. That's why I've been bleeding blood. Can't walk fast, literally just happened 10 minutes ago.
So they've been and had a look.
Yeah, showed me pictures.
How did they get in?
Camera, I was a Day after abandonment of surgery. What a nightmare yesterday was. I got to the hospital at 7 a.m. Spent 6 hours at the hospital just completely stressing. I got a shower at 6:30 yesterday morning. By 9 o'clock I stunk because I'd done nought but sweat from just sheer stress. I was like apologising to nurses and stuff, man. I started to smell. It was a nightmare. Got to about 1 o'clock. I'm on a ward with like 7 other guys. I was like the last person to go in, so I'm seeing people come and go, come and go, come and go. It was just before my surgery, and the surgeon come round and he was like, we've had a look at all your details or whatever, and we've decided that we're not going to do it under general anaesthetic, put me to sleep, because we just don't feel it's necessary. I was like, okay, you're the doctor. But then because I'd been asked not to eat for like 12 hours or whatever it was before I was having the surgery, I'd not eaten for about 18 hours by about 1 o'clock. So he's told me I'm not getting general anaesthetic, which was the only reason I couldn't eat. So I've asked the nurse if now I'm not getting general anaesthetic and they're just going to do it while I'm awake, can I eat now? And she was like, I'll just go and check. Come back and she was like, yes, Adam, that's fine. You can eat something now. What do you want? I said, I don't really want much. I'm just really like low on sugar right now. Could I just have some biscuits or something? She brought me this 3-pack of custard creams. And this is the problem right here. I've had my 3-pack of custard creams, and then the surgeon's turned up and he was like, right, Adam, time for your surgery. I was like, great, let's go. Gone down to theatre. They've performed all what they needed to do. Finally managed to gain access to my bladder, which was a nightmare getting to that point. Putting the camera up there was like bad, but it wasn't necessarily painful. It was more just massively uncomfortable. And then you have the worst sort of bit about it is they pump your bladder full of like some sort of solution, and it gives you like a massive urge to wee, but obviously you can't, and that's what sort of causes the uncomfortableness. Found 2 lesions on my bladder, which are like growths, like big lumps on your bladder. I'll show you a picture of what they look like. They look like a piece of coral. That's the only way I could when I saw them, that was the only way I could describe them. When I'm laid there and all this is happening to me, he's like, look at the screen, this is what I found. I said, get that screen away from me. I don't want to see anything. Just do what you need to do. And then he's found these 2 lesions and he was like, right, to the other surgeon, go get the anaesthetist. We need to chop them off basically and do whatever. The nurse has piped up and was like, I've just gave him some biscuits. And he was like, what? And he was like, she was like, I've just gave him some biscuits. He was like, why? And then she was like, well, you said he won't get in general anaesthetic. And then like an argument pursued between me, the surgeon and the nurse, while everything's still inside me. I'm shaking from like just stress and like everything else. Then he was like, we're going to have to abort the surgery. I can't do anything with food in your stomach. I was like, no, I'm here. Do it, please. He's like, can't do it. I'm going to have to abort the surgery. I was like, oh my God. I've gone silent after this because I'm mega stressed. I'm in pain. I'm just drained from this whole experience. Wheeled me back to ward where like all the guys who were on the ward with me, there was all like 50 to about 70 getting basically the exact same thing done. And they were sort of cheering me on when I went because they could see I was stressing all that. I was talking to them all and stuff, and I voiced my opinion on being stressed, and it was like, you'll be fine. There was all really great guys. They got me through it, man. When I came back, there was like, how did it? I came back like 10 minutes later. There was like, how's it gone? Are you all right? I said, it's all gone wrong, boys. I said, because I had that biscuit a minute ago, they won't do the surgery. They was all like, no. But because all this argument had happened, the surgeon and the nurse has come back round, and there was like, obviously this isn't your fault, you did ask, and from there we've told you, yeah, whatever. But it was like, nobody's come and asked me, the actual person they should have asked. The nurse has got like a massive bollocking for actually giving me the biscuits, I'm still angry at this point, because by that point I should have been fixed and on my way to recovery. So now I've got to go back and relive the entire day and get put under general anaesthetic, get these things removed and sewn back up.
Right. The fact that it's all done.
Yeah, no.
That's off your mind, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna wake up with a catheter, I guarantee it. Guarantee
no, I
it.
don't think you will, you know.
I don't know.
No, you shouldn't do.
What was it most is I should be just fixed now. And, you know what I mean? I'd have been right.
Miscommunication.
Yeah,
That's
but-
all that was. With the nurse should have been bought, quite honest with you, because she should have checked.
I know. That's why I asked. Do you know what I mean?
It was her job to go check.
Yeah.
And that ends in 935.
Yeah.
Right, have a seat then.
Thank you.
So yeah, then the consultant and the anaesthetist will come round and speak to you all individually. So that's why we need you to stay in here for at least sort of a good hour, and then you can maybe go off. Yeah. So is that all right? That's sort of what will happen within the next hour. Okay.
Does one mean I'll be going in first or something?
Well, we have the list, but then when the consultant and the anaesthetist come round, sometimes they change the order, so it's not set in stone until they've come around.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'll let you know as soon as they've been.
This is where things take an unexpected turn for the worse. The surgeon comes in, and I had not Googled what lesion meant prior to this because I was too scared, basically. The word lesion doesn't sound like a bad thing, but then the surgeon came. Surgeons are brutally honest, very brutally honest. And in no uncertain terms, he said that, well, it was basically like, so what do you think is happening today, Adam? And I was like, well, you're removing the lesions. And he was like, and what do you think lesions are? And I was like, I don't know. Growths on my bladder? He was like, lesions are cancer, Adam. And I was like, very shocked, obviously, as you do. Those are words that you never ever think that you're going to hear. But gave me confidence that sort of everything was going to be okay. From there, I had to get my gown on, get ready for the surgery. Luckily, I was actually the first person to go in, so I didn't have to sit and stew over that information for very long before actually going down. And then the anaesthetists come, and these people are quite brutally honest as well. And the next bit of terrifying information that I received was that general anaesthetic can actually kill you. It can end your life. And I was like, what? And he was like, there is a risk that you could die when we're doing this procedure. And I was like, what is going on today? Like, what is happening? Do you know what I mean? So, heart rate 120s. Terrified. I'm there alone as well. You're not allowed people with you. So I'm dealing with this alone. I'm terrified. Awful. Surgeon comes. Let's go to surgery, Adam. And the walk down to the theatre to go get the general anaesthetic is the longest walk in your life. Thinking about all these things that they've just told me, and I might not even wake up. What? So then they put all the heart monitors on you and stuff, and then they put the cannula thing in your arm, and then they start putting the general anaesthetic in you, and she's like, do you feel it? And I says, yeah. She's like, right, count back from 10, and it was literally 10, 9, asleep. Woke up like an hour and a half later, completely out of it, and the very first thing I said was, I'm alive. I was like, whoa, I'm alive. Yeah. the next thing was, what time is it? And it had been about an hour and a half. And then the next thing I said was, do I have a catheter? And she was like, yes, you've got a catheter, the nurse. And I was like, no. Just in bits, honestly. And then she was like, are you in any pain? I says, yeah. So she gave me some pain stuff, which sent me loopy. Like, it was the strongest pain medication I've ever had in my life. And she was like, do you want any more? And I've got one eye closed and I can barely form words. And I'm like, no. It's nearly ripped me off. I've been wheeled back to the ward after coming round quite a bit. And then the Macmillan nurse, the Macmillan cancer nurse, has come and seen me straight away.
Am I alright just to have a quick chat with you? Is that alright? I do apologise, it's not soundproof in here, but I'll bring the curtains round just for a bit of privacy. How are you feeling after your operation? Yeah, not feeling too dizzy still after the anaesthetic. Yeah, it was quite a quick procedure, so that's really good. Has the consultant been to see you since the operation?
I've literally just walked in.
Oh, have you?
I rolled in.
Oh, bless you. Okay. They look relatively superficial, which means they're more surface level. Sometimes bladder cancer can go into the muscle of the bladder a bit deeper, but they look surface level, which is a good thing. They've managed to remove both of them pretty easily. It was a very quick operation. You were only in there 15 minutes.
Really?
So it was very quick. So they've removed both.
Like 4 hours.
Oh, bless you. So it was a very, very quick procedure. They managed to get rid of both of them, and they look like they're relatively low grade.
And explained everything, what had happened basically, and that they'd removed it and they'd give me chemotherapy straight into my bladder. And then she gave me like a card from Macmillan Cancer charity thing, that Macmillan Cancer support, with like a number on it in case I need any support for what I'm dealing with. And then it was time to get the catheter removed.
Take a deep breath. 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 Take a deep breath.
It's great.
I've moved.
Thank you.
How was it? Sorry. Is it the same?
That was a lot better. That was a lot better. The last one was a lot bigger.
Like they left the
Bubble below.
balloon of this.
I feel like I really need to go to the toilet.
Sorry, did you
Luckily, I was still well doped up by this point, so it wasn't as bad as the last time, and this time they didn't put an as big catheter in, and they actually, it deflated the bubble this time as well on the end of it, and which I made sure of, so that came out okay. And then from there you have to go for a couple of wees to make sure you actually can wee, and then you got to just sit about and get tested and stuff for about an hour. I got a brief glimpse of the thing they had to use, which is like 5 times bigger than the camera they put down there. It's the size of your finger, because it's got to be big enough to get the camera down and instruments into your bladder to be able to do the surgery. How that thing got inside me, I have no idea. It has absolutely wrecked me, if you know what I mean. Like, I am ruined down there. You have to get somebody to pick you up, so I got somebody to pick me up. I had to get wheeled down to the front desk because I couldn't walk at all. They absolutely ruined me. From front to back, I was just in agony. And then now I've got to wait until the 29th. What they've taken out of my bladder has got to go for a biopsy to figure out how bad it is. And then from there, it determines what treatment I need in the future. And then I have to go back in 3 months to make sure it hasn't returned. So this year is just a complete write-off. A complete write-off. You never ever think in your life that those words are going to get said to you. And even now, it doesn't feel real at all. Like, I know it's been said to me and I know it's a fact, but I can't comprehend it. It's so weird. Like, you just don't think it's ever going to happen to you. And one of the doctors said it's so weird, like, you're so young, it shouldn't have, you know what I mean? That sort of shouldn't be happening to you, your age, but obviously it has. It's the lottery of life, and my name got pulled out the bag. How about that? I'm trying to stay as sane as possible right now, because overreacting in this situation obviously won't help anything. Really difficult not to overreact given the information I've received, etc. But I feel like you need to find a really good reason to sort of stay alive in this situation, and that reason for me is I've got a daughter that really needs me in her life, and I need to support her throughout her life. Do you know what I mean? That's what's keeping me going right now. And if you're ever in this sort of situation, find a really good reason to stay sane. This has been 5 weeks so far of sheer torment, of hospitals after hospitals, and I've been poked and prodded and in every single way, shape and form you can think of. Haven't been able to work in the last 5 weeks, won't be able to work for I don't know how long into the future. Everything in my life is like literally just falling apart, which is like an absolute nightmare at the moment. So if you want to support me in any way, you could like this video, leave a comment down below. I'd love to read your support comments down below. I've got nothing else better to do. That'd be amazing. If you want to go a step further and support me even more, you could purchase my book, The Perfect Peg. It's a guide to over 40 of the best pegs I've ever fished, and I've partnered with the What 3 Words app to guide you guys to the exact square meter I fished at all of these pegs. I don't earn much money at all from this book, but the tiniest bit of financial support from that right now would be amazing. You don't have to, like I say, if you just want to leave a like and a comment on this video, that's amazing. I will eternally be grateful for any support right now whatsoever. I'll leave a link for the book down below. I'll also leave another link down below where you could support me as well. Like I say, you don't have to at all. So yeah, now I have to wait until the 29th to figure out how bad, etc., what further treatment I'm going to need. It's going to be a tough year, guys, a real tough year, so send your prayers and I'll read them. And obviously, I don't know when I'm ever going to be fishing again at all this year. Don't know how I'm going to be mentally strong enough to even think about doing it again, or physically strong enough, because this has literally ripped me off, like proper ripped me off. That is complete unexpected outcome to this video. Did not expect that to happen whatsoever. But if you're ever if you ever think you've got an health problem, go and get it sorted, please. If I didn't stop being able to wee on the 10th of March, I wouldn't have got this problem sorted. And who knows how much worse it could have gotten. Do you know what I mean? Like, irreparable could have been the outcome. So it's almost like, thank God that initially happened, that's led to these events happening, that's finally managed to figure out the problem, which has got me fixed. Because like I say, if I hadn't have done, it'd have got way worse, and the outcome would have been way worse. So yeah, if you've ever got an health problem and it's just something back of your mind, just go get it sorted. You never know, it might not even be that bad, but at least you get peace of mind. The worst part about the whole thing has been not knowing what has been the problem. And now that I sort of know, it's sort of put my mind at rest. Obviously, it's worst possible outcome, but I'm still a lot better off now than I would have been, than I was from not knowing. That's even worse. So please, guys, go get your health problems sorted out. It takes some bravery, it really does. So if you can take somebody with you, get some moral support, speak to somebody about it, and just get yourself fixed, look after yourself. And I think that's it for this video, guys. I love every single one of yous. You're all absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.